Fans waited for a comeback from some of the biggest stars in music who never managed to get their resurgence. In this video, we'll look at 8 expected comebacks that did not happen. Hilary Duff. When Hilary Duff emerged in the early 2000s, she became one of the rising stars in pop music, between Lizzie McGuire dominating the Disney Channel and her transition to a pop star with hits like Come Clean and So Yesterday. She was setting up a long career in both acting and music. Her 2003 album Metamorphosis became a cornerstone for teen pop, selling millions worldwide and cementing her as a dual-threat superstar. However, by the late 2000s, her music career slowed, with her final studio album of the decade, Dignity, in 2007 having an underwhelming performance. The pop landscape shifted, and Hilary focused on acting, notably taking a step back from music altogether. In 2015, her fans were excited with the promise of a comeback to music when she released Breathe In, Breathe Out. The album debuted in the Billboard 200's top 5, selling 39,000 copies in its first week. It featured gems like Sparks and My Kind, but the promotion for the album was non-existent, and Hilary herself seemed hesitant to fully immerse herself back into the music scene. While she hinted at exploring a new sound and even teased unreleased tracks, her comeback to the music scene did not happen, and it was sidelined again. She instead focused on her hit TV show Younger. In the era of nostalgia-filled revivals, Hilary Duff could have easily carved out her own space in pop music, but she didn't really want to. Big Time Rush. Big Time Rush was one of Nickelodeon's most successful ventures into the world of boy bands. Formed in 2009 as both a TV show and an actual music group, they delivered catchy hits like Boyfriend and Worldwide, becoming heartthrobs almost overnight. They built a strong fan base with 3 albums, BTR, Elevate, and 24/7. Charting on the Billboard 200. By the time the TV show ended in 2013, the boys had set themselves up for a potential transition from teen idols to bona fide pop stars, much like the Jonas Brothers had done before them. However, instead of capitalizing on their momentum, they broke up quietly, leaving fans without closure. Each member pursued solo careers with varying levels of success. The lack of a definitive reunion, or even a formal announcement of their hiatus, left fans speculating whether the band would ever come back together. In 2021, BTR reignited hope and began performing together again. Fans were excited, expecting a comeback single or even a new album. Then they released their latest album, Another Life, on June 2, 2023. Even though their remaining fan base bought some records, the album flopped, not even managing to chart on the Billboard 200. Even though they returned after a decade break, their comeback flopped, and we haven't heard anything new since then. Rihanna. Rihanna's last studio album, Anti, was released way back in 2016, leaving fans eagerly awaiting new music for nearly a decade. She first burst onto the scene in 2005 with her infectious debut single, Ponder Replay. The song's success marked the beginning of what would become one of the most iconic careers in pop music history. She quickly proved she wasn't just another one-hit wonder, following up with a string of hits like SOS, Unfaithful, and Umbrella, which solidified her status as a global superstar. She is one of the biggest hitmakers of all time, with 14 #1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100 to date. After a long time off, in 2022, she contributed 2 songs to the Black Panther Wakanda Forever soundtrack, and in 2023, she headlined the Super Bowl halftime show, and her fans thought the comeback was on. However, no new album seemed to materialize. She has been focusing on her booming fashion and beauty empire Fenty, but the anticipation for new music has only grown stronger. Rumors of R9 have circulated for years, with no concrete release date in sight. Last year, she said she was starting over, which was disappointing. Her return to music has been one of the biggest myths in pop music. I'm starting to think it's never going to happen. The Pussycat Dolls. Few groups have defined the 2000s quite like the Pussycat Dolls, with infectious pop hits like Don'tcha and Buttons. They dominated the decade with 2 studio albums, PCD and Doll Domination. However, the group disbanded in 2010 because of internal tension and dissatisfaction of the other members, with Nicole Scherzinger's outsized role as a lead vocalist. Their songs were basically Nicole and her backup dancers. Fans hoped for a reunion for years, and in 2019, their prayers were answered. The group reunited for a show-stopping performance on The X Factor and announced plans for a new single and tour. The single React arrived in early 2020 and got decent attention and buzz online. Unfortunately, the comeback stalled almost as quickly as it began. The global pandemic forced the group to postpone their tour indefinitely, and rumors of internal fighting once again emerged. Nicole Scherzinger, meanwhile, focused her role on reality competition shows. By 2022, their tour plans were officially cancelled, and fans were left bitter, realizing their comeback had fizzled out. One Direction. When One Direction announced their hiatus in 2015, fans were promised it wasn't the end. The group dominated the early 2010s with a string of #1 albums and hits like What Makes You Beautiful and Story of My Life. Despite Zayn Malik's departure in early 2015, the remaining 4 members soldiered on with Made in the AM, their 5th and final studio album. Each member pursued solo careers, and while they all found some success, with Harry Styles becoming a pop icon, Directioners were holding out hope that they would eventually reunite. The members occasionally spoke fondly of their time together, but none have expressed a serious desire to revisit the One Direction era. Zayn Malik has been candid about his struggles with fame during his time with the group and tensions among the members, despite fans endlessly theorizing and hashtags like #OneDReunion trending on social media. The reunion never happened. One Direction's fan base remains one of the most loyal and vocal in pop music history, and a comeback tour or album could have easily broken records. But after the tragic passing of Liam Payne last year, One Direction's story as a group seemed to have ended. The group achieved legend status, even though they were only together for like 5 years. NSync. For years, fans were waiting for NSYNC to reunite. The boy band, which dominated the late 90s and early 2000s with hits like Bye 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 and It's Gonna Be Me, was at the top of the pop world before going on hiatus in 2002. Rumors about a reunion started swirling almost immediately after their hiatus, with periodic hints from band members, especially Justin, who became the group's biggest star. Fans speculated that NSYNC would return to make music and tour once again, but because of the success of Justin's solo career, it never seemed likely. In 2013, the group reunited at the MTV VMAs for a surprise performance, which gave fans hope. However, this was more of a nostalgic moment rather than the beginning of a new era for NSYNC. In the years since, there have been no official announcements or projects confirming their comeback. The closest fans got to a major reunion was in 2021, when JT confirmed he would be open to reuniting with his bandmates. But even then, no plans followed. The band performed together last year, as their song Bye 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 went viral because it was featured on Deadpool and Wolverine. They might be performing here and there, but a full-on comeback is unlikely. Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill's 1998 album The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is regarded as one of the greatest albums of all time, blending soulful R&B and hip-hop into an unforgettable masterpiece. After that record, celebrated not just for her music, but also for her huge cultural impact. However, her career after The Miseducation has been marked by struggles. Fans eagerly anticipated a follow-up album, but that never really happened. She has teased fans over the years with talk of a new album, but the projects never materialized. Her live performances have also had mixed reviews because of her habit of veering off the setlist, changing up the songs, and showing up late, which contributed to her reputation as a difficult artist to pin down. Her refusal to compromise on her artistry and her aversion to the music industry's expectations also affected her career trajectory. Over the years, she had scattered music releases, including a few singles and the incomplete MTV Unplugged #2 album. Her latest release was her feature on her song's viral song last year. Lauryn Hill remains a legend, but the much anticipated follow-up album will likely never see the light of day, but I hope I'm wrong. Outkast. Outkast, the genre-defying duo of Andre 3000 and Big Boy, is one of the most influential acts in the history of hip-hop. Their 2003 album Speakerboxxx The Love Below was an overwhelming success, making them household names with hits like Hey Ya and The Way You Move. It also became one of the hip-hop albums that would go on to win the Grammy Award for Album of the Year. Their 2003 album Idlewild is still their latest project, Fans have speculated on their reunion, but they never released any new music as a duo since then. Although they reunited briefly in 2014 for a well-received festival tour, it is widely anticipated that this would lead to a new album or a more sustained collaboration. The duo's chemistry was legendary, and with the music industry shifting towards nostalgia acts and reunion tours, it seemed like the perfect time for Outkast to return with fresh material. However, that never happened. While both members continued to release music individually, including Big Boy's solo albums and Andre 3K's sporadic guest appearances, and his new Grammy-nominated flute album, a reunion seems far-fetched. The anticipation surrounding an Outkast comeback is still there, but it has been close to 20 years. We need to move on. Which expected comebacks that did not happen did I miss? Tell me in the comments below.